Everyone called her the perfect daughter. Rich, beautiful, loved by all. But behind closed doors, Amara was hiding a dark secret that was tearing her apart. And when they finally discovered what she'd been doing for months, the entire village stood frozen in disbelief. Before we see what finally breaks Amara's dangerous cycle, hit that subscribe button, because this story takes a turn you'll never see coming. Don't miss it. Amara was the most beautiful girl in Okpala village. She had everything. Her father owned the biggest yam farm. Her mother sold the finest palm oil in the market. They lived in a fine house with a zinc roof while others had mud and thatch. Amara wore new wrappers every market day. Her skin glowed like fresh shea butter. Young men lined up to greet her. Old women called her our daughter. But on the day of Mama Eagle's birthday party, Amara did something that made the whole village whisper in shock. While everyone danced and ate outside, Amara quietly slipped into Mama Eagle's room and stole a gold chain from the wooden box under the bed. She already had 3 gold chains at home. She didn't need it. But she took it anyway. And when she hid it in her wrapper and walked back to the party, her heart was beating so fast and loud that she thought everyone could hear it. But they couldn't. And that fast heartbeat, it made her smile. Nobody saw her take it. Nobody suspected the rich, beautiful Amara. She moved through the party like a gentle breeze, serving food to the elders, laughing with the children, dancing with the women. Her face showed nothing but joy and innocence. But inside, a storm was raging. Her hands trembled slightly as she handed out plates of jollof rice. Her smile felt tight on her face. Every few minutes, she would touch her wrapper where the chain was hidden, just to make sure it was still there. And each time she touched it, that strange excitement would rush through her body again, making her feel dizzy and alive in a way she couldn't explain to anyone, not even to herself. That night, as she lay on her mat with the stolen chain hidden under her pillow, something strange happened. She felt excited. She felt alive. It was like she had drunk fresh palm wine. The danger. The secret. The hiding. It made her feel powerful in a way nothing else did. She touched the chain in the darkness and laughed softly to herself. "Why did I take this?" she whispered. "I don't even need it." But deep inside, she knew she would do it again. The feeling was too strong, too sweet, too addictive. It was like tasting honey for the first time and knowing you would never be satisfied with anything else. The next morning, Mama Eagle cried loudly in the village square. "My gold chain. My late mother's chain. Someone stole it during my party." Women gathered around her, shaking their heads. "Oh, what is this world turning into?" they said. "A thief among us. In our own village." Amara stood at the back of the crowd, her face looking sad and concerned like everyone else. "Don't worry, Mama Eagle," she said sweetly. "We will find who did this wicked thing." And as the women hugged Mama Eagle and promised to pray, Amara walked home slowly, her hands shaking, her mind racing, her heart beating fast again. Not from fear, but from that strange, dark excitement that she could not explain. That night, she couldn't sleep. She kept thinking about it. The way her hands had moved so quickly. The way she had walked out so calmly. The way nobody suspected her. Not beautiful, wealthy, well-behaved Amara. And as she lay there in the darkness, staring at the roof, a terrible thought came to her mind like a whisper from somewhere deep inside. "I want to do it again." She tried to push the thought away. She prayed. She begged God to take away this strange feeling. But the more she tried to forget it, the stronger it became. It was like trying to forget the taste of water when you are dying of thirst. 3 weeks later, there was a big meeting at the village square. The elders were sharing bags of rice that came from the government. Every family would get 1 bag. Amara's family already had plenty of rice at home. Mountains of it. Her father had just harvested and stored enough to last 2 farming seasons. But as Amara stood in the line with other young people, watching the rice bags being counted and shared, that feeling came back. That hunger. That pull. When nobody was looking, when everyone's attention was on Chief Obi, who was making a long speech about gratitude and unity, Amara quietly moved 2 extra bags behind a big tree. Her heart was pounding so hard she thought it would burst out of her chest. Her hands moved fast, like they had a mind of their own. Later, after everyone had gone home, she returned with her younger brother's help. "Sister, why are we taking this?" he asked, confused. "Papa said we have too much rice already." Amara's eyes flashed with something strange. "Just help me carry it," she snapped. "Don't ask me questions." But this time, someone saw. Old Papa Uzoma, who had been resting under a nearby tree, watched with his tired, wise eyes as Amara and her brother struggled with the stolen rice bags. He said nothing. He just watched. And he shook his head slowly, his heart heavy with confusion. "Amara," he whispered to himself. "The daughter of Chief Okafor." Why? Papa Uzoma had lived for 78 years. He had seen many things in his life. He had seen hunger drive people to steal. He had seen poverty push people to do terrible things. But this? A rich man's daughter stealing what she already had plenty of. This was something different. Something he had never seen before. And it troubled his old heart deeply. The next day, Papa Uzoma went to Chief Okafor's house. He sat down slowly on the wooden bench outside and spoke in a low, respectful voice. "My son," he said to Amara's father, "I need to tell you something about your daughter. Yesterday, I saw her take rice that was not hers." Chief Okafor's face went dark. His hands became fists. "What are you saying, Papa Uzoma?" "My daughter. Amara. We have rice overflowing in our barn. Why would she steal rice?" Papa Uzoma nodded sadly. "That is the same question in my heart, my son. That is why I came to you quietly, as a friend. Something is not right." He paused, choosing his words carefully. "I have lived many years. I have seen thieves. But thieves steal because they need something. Your daughter, she steals even though she needs nothing. This troubles me greatly." When Chief Okafor confronted Amara that evening, she cried. Big, heavy tears rolled down her beautiful face. She fell to her knees. "Papa, I don't know what happened to me. I don't know why I did it. Please forgive me. It will never happen again." Her mother held her and cried too. Her father's anger melted like palm oil in the sun. "My daughter," he said, his voice shaking, "we have everything. You have everything. If you want rice, if you want anything, just ask me. Don't bring shame to our family." Amara nodded and nodded, her face buried in her mother's wrapper. "I promise, Papa. I promise. Never again." But even as she said those words, even as tears wet her cheeks, somewhere deep inside her, that dark hunger was still there. Waiting. Watching. Growing. Her father sat her down that night and talked to her for hours. He told her about their family name, about honor, about the respect they had built in the village over generations. "Amara," he said, holding her hands, "you are my first daughter. My pride. People look at you and see our family's future. When you do things like this, it is not just you that suffers. It is all of us. Your mother, your brothers, your sisters. Even your children who are not yet born will carry this shame." Amara listened and wept. She understood everything he said. She felt the weight of her family's honor on her shoulders. And she genuinely wanted to stop. But wanting to stop and being able to stop were two very different things. For 2 whole months, Amara did not steal anything. She prayed every morning. She helped her mother in the market. She smiled at everyone. People said, "See, it was just a mistake. Our Amara is a good girl." But inside, Amara was fighting a war. Every time she saw something beautiful, something valuable, something hidden, her hands would start to shake. Her heart would start to beat fast. She would imagine taking it, hiding it, keeping the secret. And each time, she would force herself to look away, to walk away, to pray the feeling away. But it was like trying to stop the rain from falling. The urge was too strong. And it was only a matter of time. The breaking point came on the day of her best friend Chika's wedding. The whole village was celebrating. Music filled the air. Women danced in their best wrappers. Men sprayed money. Chika looked so beautiful in her white lace and coral beads. And Amara, as the chief bridesmaid, stood beside her, smiling, helping her, celebrating with her. But when they went into Chika's mother's room to change Chika's wrapper for the reception, Amara saw it. A small red jewelry box on top of the wooden cupboard. And something inside her woke up. Something dark and hungry and impossible to ignore. Chika, I'll help you fix your head tie, Amara said sweetly. Go outside and greet your new mother-in-law. I'll bring your wrapper. Chika hugged her. Thank you, my sister. You are my true friend. And she left. The moment the door closed, Amara stood frozen. Her whole body began to shake. No, she whispered to herself. Not here. Not today. Not from Chika. She tried to turn away. She tried to pick up the wrapper and leave. But her legs wouldn't move. Her eyes stayed fixed on that red box. It was like an invisible rope was pulling her toward it. Step by step, she moved closer to the cupboard. Her breathing became heavy. Sweat formed on her forehead. Please, God, she prayed silently. Help me. Stop me. But her hands did not listen to her prayers. She climbed on a chair, opened the box, and saw it. A beautiful silver bracelet with small diamonds. It must have cost everything. It was probably Chika's mother's life savings. Amara's hands were shaking so badly she almost dropped it. No, she whispered to herself. No, not here. Not today. Not from Chika. But her hands did not listen. She took the bracelet. She hid it in her bra. She climbed down. She fixed her wrapper. And she walked outside, smiling, as if nothing had happened. But inside, she felt like she was dying. This time, there was no excitement. No thrill. Only a deep, heavy shame that made her want to disappear into the ground. But guilt followed her like a shadow. All through the wedding, she could barely smile. She could barely eat. The food tasted like sand in her mouth. The music sounded like noise in her ears. When Chika hugged her and said, I don't know what I would do without you, my sister, Amara felt something break inside her chest. She excused herself and went behind the kitchen to cry. She leaned against the mud wall and sobbed quietly, her whole body shaking. What kind of person am I? She whispered. What kind of evil lives inside me that makes me betray the people I love? An old woman from the kitchen came out and saw her crying. Amara, what is wrong? She asked with concern. Amara quickly wiped her face. Nothing, Mama. Just happy tears for my friend. But they both knew it was a lie. That night, she could not sleep. She took out the bracelet and stared at it in the moonlight coming through her window. It was beautiful. But it felt heavy. Heavier than any chain or ring she had ever stolen before. This was different. This wasn't stealing from strangers. This was betraying her closest friend. Chika, who had shared her secrets with her since they were little girls. Chika, who had defended her when people started whispering about the stolen rice. Chika, who trusted her completely. What is wrong with me? She cried softly, her whole body shaking. Why can't I stop? Why can't I just stop? She thought about returning it secretly, but how? She thought about confessing, but the shame was too great. So she did what she always did. She hid it. She buried it. She pretended everything was fine. 2 days later, Chika's mother discovered the bracelet was missing. She wept bitterly in the village square, where everyone could hear her. That bracelet was for Chika. My mother gave it to me on her deathbed. I was saving it to give to my daughter after the wedding. Now it is gone. Stolen. During my own daughter's wedding. The pain in her voice made even the strongest men look away. The news spread through the village like wildfire. People gathered. They asked questions. They remembered that Amara had been in the room alone. Some people defended her. Not Amara. She would never. But others whispered. She was alone in the room. She has stolen before, remember the rice. And Mama Eagle's chain was never found. Could it be? The whispers grew louder and louder until they became voices. And the voices grew louder until they became shouts. Finally, Elder Ikena, the oldest man in the village, came to Chief Okafor's house with 10 other elders behind him. Their faces were serious. Their eyes were hard. This was no longer a small matter that could be handled quietly between families. This had become a village matter. A matter of justice and truth. Chief Okafor, Elder Ikena said, his voice hard like iron, "We need to speak with your daughter. Now." They gathered in Chief Okafor's compound. The whole village seemed to be there. Even small children who didn't fully understand what was happening knew something big was taking place. They held their mother's wrappers and watched with wide eyes. Amara stood in the center, her beautiful face now wet with tears and sweat. Her mother sat on the ground, crying and rocking back and forth. Her father stood like a statue, his jaw tight, his eyes closed, his hands trembling at his sides. The shame on his face was so deep that people who saw him felt pain in their own hearts. Elder Ikena spoke slowly, giving weight to every word. "Amara, daughter of this house, we have loved you. We have celebrated you. We have watched you grow from a small girl into a beautiful woman. But now, strange things are happening. Things disappear when you are near. Today, we are not here to punish you. We are here to ask you, with the spirit of our ancestors watching, did you take Chico's mother's bracelet? If this story is keeping you glued to your screen, imagine what you're missing by not subscribing. Hit that button, more powerful stories like this are coming." The silence was so heavy that even the chickens stopped clucking. Even the wind seemed to stop blowing. Amara's whole body shook. She wanted to lie. She had lied so many times before. Her mouth opened to form the words, "No, I didn't take it." But then she looked up and saw Chika standing there. Her best friend. Her sister. Chika's eyes were red from crying. Her face showed not anger, but pure heartbreak. And in that moment, Amara realized that lying would kill her more surely than any punishment the village could give. Something inside Amara finally broke open. "Yes," she whispered. The word came out so softly that people leaned forward to hear. "Yes. I took it. I took the bracelet. I took Mama Eagle's chain. I took the rice. I have been stealing. For months. From everyone. And I don't know why." The gasp that went through the crowd sounded like wine through dry leaves. Women covered their mouths. Men shook their heads in disbelief. Chika fell to her knees, crying. "Amara. How could you? We were sisters. Sisters." Chief Okafor's legs gave way and he sat down heavily on the ground, his face in his hands. His strong shoulders shook as he wept. Amara's mother wailed loudly, beating her chest. "Why? Why? We gave you everything. Why would you do this to us?" But Amara kept talking, the words pouring out now like water from a broken pot. She couldn't stop them even if she wanted to. "I have everything. I know I have everything. But something inside me, something is sick. Every time I see something, I feel like I must take it. Not because I need it. But because taking it makes me feel alive. Like I matter. Like I have power. I have tried to stop. I swear to God and all our ancestors, I have tried. But I can't. I can't stop. I hate myself. I hate what I have become. But I can't stop." She collapsed to her knees, her whole body shaking with sobs. The tears came so hard she could barely breathe. Her beautiful wrapper was covered in dust. Her hair had come loose from its careful styling. She looked broken. Defeated. "I need help," she cried. "Please. Somebody help me. I don't want to be this person anymore. Every night I go to sleep hating myself. Every morning I wake up promising myself I will not steal again. But then the feeling comes. That terrible, powerful feeling. And I am too weak to fight it. I am so tired of fighting. I am so tired of lying. I am so tired of being this person." The raw honesty in her voice made even the angriest people in the crowd feel something shift inside them. This was not the defiance of a wicked person. This was the desperate cry of someone drowning. Elder Ikena stood there for a long time, just looking at her. His old eyes, which had seen 70 years of village life, studied her carefully. He had seen many criminals in his time. He had seen liars and thieves and wicked people. But what he saw in Amara's face was not wickedness. It was something else. Something he didn't fully understand, but recognized as genuine suffering. Then he spoke, his voice softer now, like a father speaking to a wounded child. My child, what you have is not witchcraft. It is not a curse. It is sickness of the mind. Sickness that makes you want to take things even when you don't need them. In the big cities, they have doctors for this. They have medicine for this. But here, we only have wisdom. He turned to Chief Okafor, who was still sitting on the ground, broken. Your daughter must return everything she has stolen. She must apologize to every person she has wronged. She must work to pay back what cannot be returned. And then, you must take her to the city. Find her help. Real help. Because if you don't, this thing inside her will destroy her completely. And we will lose a daughter of this village forever. The healing journey was long and painful. Chief Okafor used his savings to take Amara to a hospital in the city where a doctor explained that she had something called kleptomania, a sickness that made her steal even when she didn't want to. The doctor was a kind woman with glasses who spoke gently. This is not your fault, she told Amara. But it is your responsibility to get help. Your brain has learned to find pleasure in stealing. We need to teach it new ways to find that feeling. She began treatment. She began counseling. Every week, she sat in a small room and talked to the doctor about her feelings, her urges, her fears. She learned that her stealing was not about greed but about something broken deep inside her mind, something that craved the excitement and danger of stealing to feel anything at all. She learned that many people struggled with similar things, some with stealing, others with drinking, others with gambling. The problem took different forms, but the root was the same, trying to fill an emptiness inside with something external. Back in the village, she faced everyone she had wronged. Each apology was like dying a small death. She went to Mama Eagle's house and returned the chain, falling at her feet. I am sorry, Mama. I am so sorry. Mama Eagle cried and forgave her, but the trust was gone from her eyes. She went to Chika's mother and returned the bracelet, her voice shaking with shame. Chika's mother took the bracelet in silence, her face hard. She returned the rice. She apologized with tears and shame to everyone. Some people forgave her. Some people didn't. Some people spat on the ground when she passed. Children pointed at her and whispered. Old women who used to praise her beauty now whispered the thief when she walked by. The shame was a heavy load, but Amara carried it. She knew she deserved it. Chika took the longest time. For 3 months, she wouldn't speak to Amara. She would turn her face away when they met on the road. But one day, she came to Amara's house. She stood at the door, her eyes still hurt, but softer. You hurt me, she said. You betrayed me in a way I never thought possible. I cried for weeks. But you are sick. And sick people need healing, not hatred. I don't know if we can be what we were before. But I can try to forgive you. Slowly, months passed. Slowly, with medicine and prayers and therapy and the support of people who truly loved her, Amara began to heal. The urges became weaker. The hunger became quieter. Some days were harder than others. Some days the old feelings would come back so strong she would have to lock herself in her room and pray and cry until they passed. She learned to recognize when the feeling was coming and what to do to stop it. She learned that being honest about her struggle was stronger than hiding it. When she felt the urge to steal, she would immediately tell someone, her mother, her father, her counselor. Speaking it out loud took away its power. She learned that asking for help was not weakness but courage. And slowly, day by day, week by week, month by month, she began to become a person she could look at in the mirror without shame. And one day, a full year after her confession, standing in the village square with the evening sun turning everything gold, Amara spoke to the young people who had gathered to hear her story. Elder Ikena had asked her to speak. Tell them your story, he said. So they can learn. So they can know that suffering has many faces. So she stood there, her voice strong now, her eyes clear. I had everything, she said. But I was empty inside. And I tried to fill that emptiness with stealing, with secrets, with the thrill of doing wrong. I thought it made me powerful. But it only made me a prisoner. A prisoner in chains I had made for myself. She paused and looked at each young face looking up at her. Some with judgment. Some with curiosity. Some with understanding. If you are struggling with something you cannot control, something that is destroying you from the inside, please, I beg you, don't hide it. Don't wait until you lose everything like I almost did. Speak. Ask for help. There is no shame in being sick. The only shame is in refusing to get well. I lost my reputation. I lost my friends' trust. I lost my family's honor. But I found something more valuable. I found the truth about myself. And I found the courage to face it. A young girl in the crowd raised her hand. Amara, are you cured now? Amara smiled sadly. I am not cured. I am healing. Every day, I am healing. Some days are easy. Some days I still feel the old hunger trying to wake up inside me. But now I know what to do. Now I am not alone in this fight. As she walked home that evening, with the village children playing around her, with her mother's hand in hers, Amara felt something she hadn't felt in years. Peace. Real peace. Not the fake excitement of stealing. Not the temporary thrill of hiding secrets. But the deep, quiet peace of someone who had faced her darkness and chosen to walk toward the light. She knew the journey wasn't over. She knew some days would be harder than others. She knew some people in the village would never trust her again, and that was their right. But for the first time in so long, beautiful, wealthy Amara had something that all her riches could never buy. She had freedom. Freedom from the chains she had put on herself. And that, she finally understood, was the greatest treasure of all. That night, before she slept, she wrote in the journal her counselor had given her. Today, I told my story to the village. I was afraid they would mock me or hate me more. But some of them came to me afterward. Some of them told me their own secrets. Their own struggles. And I realized something. We are all fighting battles that others cannot see. We are all carrying burdens that we hide from the world. The difference is only this: some of us pretend we are fine, and some of us find the courage to say we are not. If Amara's story moved you, subscribe and share it with someone who needs to hear this. Your support helps us tell more life-changing stories like this.